actually in my hoodie, this oversized pajama-ish thing. I really wanted to be comfortable for today's video. We're talking about the tea, and I'm bringing the actual tea. What teas do you like drinking at the moment? I have a rooibos obsession. Hi everyone, Miranda here. I hope you're all going well, and I hope you are all staying safe during this coronavirus period. No. Something I wanted to do upon coming back to YouTube in general was discussion videos, because I feel like who doesn't love a good discussion? You know, a video where we can just talk for an hour or so. It probably won't be an hour because by the time I cut it down and everything, about a topic, and not just personal topics or generic topics within the community as well. Before I begin today's video with today's topic, I would just like to put out there that this by no means is a video to offend anyone. By no means is a video to get all angry about a book battle without the physical books. This video is just about a discussion on a topic that has been floating around the Booktube community. I have noticed consumerism on Booktube. I feel like just saying the words, I'm gonna get in trouble. Oops. I would really love my opinion to be respected just as much as I respect anyone else's opinion. Since coming back to the community, I have noticed a lot that people are taking to book Twitter for literally everything, and all the rants and all the drama is literally on book Twitter. Now, I love Twitter, but sometimes it can get so narky, and I'm actually starting to get really frustrated with it. People can get very over opinionated, go off at each other, bullying is created, and I feel like a lot of the drama that does happen in Booktube comes from Twitter. Recently, there were a lot of arguments surrounding people that have or make huge book hauls. And not only that, people that do have giant bookshelves. There are many different, obviously, perceptions about this topic, my point of view, and why I have the bookshelf that I have today, why I have hauled so many books in the past, kind of continue to do so, just to calm the nerves. Cheers. This isn't a negative discussion. This is actually a good starting point in conversations, because a lot of people don't understand it, even from an outsider's perspective. You know, if you do have a hobby, or you do have a passion, or you have something that you collect, talking about what makes books. For me, when I started Booktube in 2013, I started with around 30 books on my bookshelf. That soon grew over time, and if you probably look back in older videos, you can see that the shelves just keep getting bigger. Before I even began Booktube, I had a massive passion for reading and writing. Even when I was like 10 years of age, 9 years of age, I wanted a library. That has always been my main goal. Like men have their man cave, it's just been my thing. And it's not because I'm an obsessive hoarder, even though I can guarantee that I do hoard little things here and there. We all do. Reading for me is my mental health. Reading for me is a way I can escape the real world, and I've been doing it from a very young age. When I say that books mean a lot to me, and that is why I have so many books, it's because they do. They are part of my life that a lot of people won't understand. So I think firstly, before you start judging a person on why they have so many books, really think about the reasons behind why do they. Think about what their mental set is and what that means for them. But there are many different ways to go about defining why people have books, and some are positive, like for example why I have my books, but some are negative, and that is what I'll discuss a little later. Now, at about 16, 17, 18, so about 2014, I was given an allowance, and sometimes I kept that money, other times I used it. Every single week we would go to the bookshop. Back when I was in high school and everything, I didn't really put my money towards buying like lollies or buying clothes. I put it towards buying books, and a lot of the teenagers, everything these days, put their money towards obviously makeup and fashion and fake tan and lashes and nails. That wasn't me. I saved my money and put it towards books. I found myself coming in and doing monthly book hauls where I would have about like 40, 30 books, which at the time people would look at me and they would go, wow, you hoarded a lot of books, you must have a lot of money. And that's not so, I don't. It's just what I choose to put my money towards. I was also very fortunate enough at the time to be given books by publishing houses. I feel like that's the real reason as to why I have so many family members that wanted to give up their books would give them to me. And the collection just grew and grew, obviously, to what it is today. Now, I do admit my collection has grown to the point where I cannot fit it in my room anymore, where obviously it has to have its own separate part of the house. And I'm very fortunate enough in my situation to be able to have that space and have that book room, because a lot of people aren't. And if they live in a smaller space, obviously they can't hoard heaps of books. My living situations, and my mum, who I live with, understands that that is me and I need that, because if I didn't have that, mentally I'd be in a very different situation. My collection now stands at about probably 500 to 600 books, a lot of books, and that continues to grow, but it is growing at a slower rate than obviously the way it was growing back in the day, where it would really increase super quickly. I really do think that I will keep collecting, and I don't find that necessarily a bad thing. For me, I can say I am proud of my bookshelf. If anything happened and the book thief style stuff did happen, and there was no electricity and it was really, really cold and it was snowing, burn to us to stay alive and to keep warm around a fire, I think I'd be safe. I'd have a lot to burn. I know a lot of people that are copping flack would feel the same. They want to be proud of their collection. They want to not show it off in a nasty way, but just show you who they are. You know, we can accept people for who they are so easily these days, but why can't you accept someone's hobby? It's a bit like people who collect DVDs. I know people that have a massive amount of DVDs, have a massive collection, and that's their thing, but no one ever shuns them. People who collect cars, I work in the motorsport industry, and people have $100,000 worth of cars. They're all applauded. They're not like yada yada yada. People that collect clothes and have like $1 million wardrobes, why are we getting shunned down? That's our thing. Does the beauty community go, oh my god, like her makeup room is way too big, she has like thousands of dollars of products that are going to expire? Books don't expire. They're yellow. The smell might get better because books smell good in physicalness. The consumerism is very different from, say, hoarding something that has a use by date. Books have been around for centuries and meant so much to a lot of people. Now, on the topic of book hauls, there is now unhauls. I find this a great way to get rid of books, but in a positive manner. You know, decluttering is actually so good for the soul. Like, I love it so much. And like Marie Kondo says in her Netflix series, if it does not give you joy, give it away. Get rid of it. So going through books that, you know, you may not have read in ages and giving them up is such a good idea. I get it, like clutter, saving space, you know, money. And I do love secondhand books. There is this whole perception now of whether people buy new or they buy secondhand. Preferably, a lot of my books now are secondhand. I wouldn't look at it any other way. You can get a book for $5 instead of getting a book for like, you know, $25. Find all these new ways of recycling books. There comes the whole thing about, well, if they're doing it, why shouldn't I be? And if I'm not doing it, will I get looked down upon, you know, just within the community in general for not being like everyone else? And this is where I think the argument really starts. I prefer to read physical books, if anything. I have tried reading ebooks or books on my iPad, you know, the Kindle thing. I can't wrap my head around it. I need a physical book when I read. I need to smell it. I need to hold it. I need to turn the page and feel the satisfaction when I get to the ending. A book that's on a tablet, you can store thousands and it's great. When you walk into a room, preferably even a library, and you see all the titles on the shelves, and even when I walk into my book room now, it's just a sense of relief for me, mentally. I see all these titles, I see all these worlds, I see all my little bits of fandom on my bookshelf that I've collected, and I think to myself, this is my world, and I'm so thankful for it. It's a real sense of peace, and I can't get that if I have a Kindle. Now, this also raises the status of popularity, because when I started Booktube, having a big bookshelf was like a status of I read more than you, or like I'm bigger subscriber base than you because I have more books, or more people will subscribe to me because I look more nerdy or I have more stuff. But that's the mindset that you create for yourself. I didn't hoard books on Booktube because people told me to. I hoarded them because I loved books and I generally were given them, obviously, to review them. If I didn't want them, I would have given them away. Basing a subscribe account or what you do on the tube off the amount of books that you have, like, you could be a really good booktuber or really good book reviewer or person or anything and not even have one book in your house. I really feel you don't need a book collection to be a great booktuber. Putting that theory to bed is a good one, because a lot of people say it must be because I need big books, like I need to hoard all these books. And there's a lot of perceptions as well, like Booktube made me do it, Booktube made me buy this book. And you know what? For a lot of what I have on my shelves, Booktube has made me buy these books that I have. It has, because Booktube's all about recommendations and sharing your love for what you read, and people find hidden treasures on here through what other people recommend. That is Booktube. Booktube made me do it. Like I was pressured and forced into it, versus no, you actually weren't. You can choose what you want to do and forge your own path and go your own way. Don't look at what everyone else is doing. I base myself off my creative ideas and what I've done for the community in that regard. I don't base myself off the size of my bookshelf. That's just me. Also, about this discussion of people forcing people to do something. And I think this is what creates the drama behind the people getting jealous, or people thinking they're not good enough, or people, getting into arguments with other people about shit things. That makes the person unhappy. If they get that perception, that makes themselves unhappy, and then they kind of bring that out in a negative way and then go, oh, but they forced me into that, and then that starts the whole argument. In this day and in this society, we get the choice to decide everything that we do. If hauling books and having a bookshelf and that part of consumerism does not make you happy, don't do it. It's as simple as that. But you don't bring someone else down for doing that, because they have their own personal reasons as to why they may have that. People don't judge Kylie Jenner, they support her. Well, I don't really like her, but people don't judge freaking the WAP dance. If you see someone happy and radiating with what they're doing, you shouldn't be bringing them down. That's a form of bullying. Who was bullied for their love of books? Who here was bullied? I was bullied. I was bullied in school for having a booktube channel. Even just lately, in previous relationships, I found out that person actually really thought that was a joke. Having a shelf like that. And why are we in the community bullying each other for our love for books, even though they can go in two separate ways, without a bookshelf, without consuming books, or by consuming books with a bookshelf? Why do we have to put each other down when the love there is for the one thing? The love is the same. There is so much drama, and you're gonna get it in every single community. You're gonna get it in every walk of life. People thrive on it. They love it. It's great. Now, I'm lucky if I hoard 3 books a month, 4 books a month. I don't go out and spend my money on books. If people have a budget, and if people are like, okay, I want to spend $20 this month towards books, they're allowed to spend that. If they want to spend $250, they're allowed to spend that. If they have, if they're allowed, everyone is allowed to spend their money on whatever they want to spend it on. It does get personal to the person. What are you spending your money on? Am I going to tease you on that? If people need that one splurge in their life, whether it be buying money on chocolate, whether it be going out and getting their hair done every week, doing their nails every week, their tan. There are people that spend $400 a week on self-care that I know. In a very consumerist society, we're always spending money on the latest and greatest things. That's human. Something that I've also recently noticed as well is the discussions on book Twitter if people don't read certain books, or if they don't want to dive into certain worlds because it's against their beliefs or everything. I have seen this recently with Harry Potter. Before I even came back to Booktube, I didn't even know what the deal was with J.K. Rowling and how she made certain people feel. I got messages saying, why are you following J.K. Rowling? Oh, I'm going to unfollow you because you're following her. I kind of got a little bit I felt a bit targeted. I don't want to be involved in that drama. I support people, I give back to people, so I don't like to be made to feel any more outcasted than I already am. Since I actually found out about the situation with the Harry Potter world and everything, that situation, I don't agree to that situation of what happened. I don't agree to it. When I think of Harry Potter, I think of just the witches and the wizards and what happens to Harry in that world. That for me is Harry Potter. That world is my childhood, and if I hear a latest update for the Harry Potter world, not her world, I like actually being the one that people come to if they want to borrow a book. Even though I have this thing where I'm just like, oh my god, like they're my babies, and I don't want something to happen to my babies. It's actually inspired my mum to read more. I have a few books in Italian. It's inspired my 89-year-old grandma to read and get into worlds that she's never even known of before. People that actually don't read much, when they come and they see my book collection, it's made them go, this is quite cool. Oh, I made them think about our world, our Booktube world. Don't you want to be giving positive vibes towards that instead of making it look like a really bad community? Then people are not going to want to be a part of it. I actually was hesitant about uploading my bookshelf reorganization video because I felt as if I would get slammed. Even my book fort video that I made just recently, that was such a happy video, and I was like, oh, you don't need 10 million books to make a book fort. My friend made a book fort and he literally had 10 books, and then he put a sheet up and like went inside, like just with his head, and was like, oh, my book fort. That challenge, even if you had one book, just make a fort in general. It's just a fun way just to share something and tag Booktube, to get our voices out there more. Ripsat. You don't necessarily have to have a bookshelf for Ripsat, even though it's like read your bookshelf-a-thon. You can do it with a TBR. This like whole thing about, bookshelf tours now becoming obsolete, or people thinking twice about doing them. Make people feel hesitant to upload that when people are uploading, oh, look what's inside my garage, or my man cave, or my media room, or my this, or my that, or my Twitch stream. Look at my awesome setup. They're not ashamed to post that. Obviously, this is an open discussion. Remember, no negativity. This is all just everyone's opinions for what they believe. But comment down below on what you think about this situation. Thank you for listening to my thoughts. I really truly appreciate it. We can just stop narking at each other and just get on with the job. And that is giving content for authors, talking about our love for what we love to read and do, supporting each other. Oh, can we stop going off at each other and just support each other? How old are we? Freaking, I'm 24. I'm over the high school drama. Can we just support each other? And whether you're a small booktuber or whether you have, 100,000 subscribers, at the end of the day, we're human. We are human. If Johnny Depp walked down the street, I'd be like, hi, he's a human. He poops the same way we all do. Just treat each other with kindness, and especially in this coronavirus world and era, talking to people, asking them, are you okay? Maybe sending them a positive message about what they've done, or a video that they're doing, or something to connect with people. You'd be amazed how much that actually means to them, how much that brightens up their day, and especially for people's mental health right now. If you have any topics you'd like me to discuss in Booktube specifically, comment down below and let me know. The other topics that I will be discussing in future will be surprise. I am Miranda, the birds are tweeting, it's time for me to go. Oh, now they stopped tweeting. As always, I appreciate you all so much, and I hope you all stay well.